and welcome to Secret Paris. I'm author Juliette Sobanet, and today we are so thrilled to have on our show Jan Moran, best-selling author of Scent of Triumph. Welcome to the show, Jan.
Thank you, Juliette. It's my pleasure.
Yes, we're so excited to have you. So tell us a little bit about your book, Scent of Triumph.
Well, Scent of Triumph is about a French perfumer and fashion designer during World War II. And the action starts in 1939. And our protagonist, Danielle, is on board an ocean liner. And that's the day that war breaks out. France and England both declare war on Nazi Germany, and Danielle finds herself at sea with her family scattered across Europe. So that's how the story ensues, is that it's her challenge to find her family, to reunite what remains of her family, and then to face challenges that are beyond what she's ever imagined that she would.
Wow, I love this premise.
Thank you.
So you take Danielle to many different settings, correct? In this
Yes.
book, lots of different cities. So why did you choose Paris as one of her stops along her journey?
Oh, well, Paris was a natural because she's a French perfumer. And Paris, of course, is the center, one of the main centers of perfumery and fashion as well. So it made sense from that perspective. My background actually is in the beauty industry and perfumery. So I had spent a lot of time in Paris over the years, and I drew on so much of the history that I've known and loved about Paris, and I loved doing the research. So to set it there was just a pleasure. I also take readers to the south of France as well. So I have a few stops in France, but Paris, one of my favorites.
It is so wonderful. So do you see yourself in your main character at all?
Well, I think we all have a little bit of ourselves in our main characters. I like to think that our main characters maybe have certain facets of our personalities. I think they're flawed, of course, as you know, all good characters should be flawed. But I think our characters, we like to make them stronger and more gorgeous and
More glamorous.
more accomplished than you might actually be. But that's why people read as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so what do you think it is about Paris specifically that makes it such a great escape for both your characters and for you?
Oh, I love to go to Paris as often as I can. And really, over the years, I've had the good fortune of being able to travel there to visit friends on holiday, and then also on business. My business took me there quite frequently. What is it? Oh, I love the ambiance of Paris, the art, the history, the culture. It seems like style is in the air there.
It is.
And everyone has a certain attitude in Paris, and it's just something I love. It's a very unique flavor that Paris has.
It is. You seem really French to me, just your whole vibe. Do you have any French in you?
I do, actually.
You do?
Yes,
Okay.
on my mother's side of the family.
Oh,
My
nice.
mother's side was French.
Okay, very nice. So when was your last trip over there to Paris?
My last trip was about 2 years ago. And at that time, I had a business, and I created digital touchscreens for Sephora stores. And of course, these went all over the world. And we launched those in Paris and then traveled on to Denmark and launched it there. So really had a wonderful time.
Wow. Do you have any favorite Paris stories from your travels over there?
My goodness, I have so many, it's hard to choose just one. But one thing that I've always noticed about Paris is whenever I go, and I know a number of people in Paris, but I certainly don't know the whole city, but it seems like whenever I go, that I run into people I know in the strangest places. And so some of my fondest memories of Paris are those chance meetings, spending the afternoon at a little cafe, popping into a little known museum, finding a fabulous restaurant in a little cottage, or maybe finding a new boutique. Every day is just special there.
It is. Do you have any favorite Paris spots? Any favorite neighborhood or cafe or anything that you love that you have to go back and visit every time you go?
Well, one of my favorite places to stay, other than with friends, is the Hotel Majestic. It's the Hotel and Villa Majestic, which is across the street from the original Majestic Hotel, one of the Grand Dames of Paris. And that one actually is no longer there. It's been replaced, but the Villa Hotel and Majestic is there. And it's in a classic Parisian townhouse. But what I love about it is that it's one of the best kept secrets. You could run into royalty. The last time I was there, I made friends with a prince. But one of my favorite spots is in the basement. Well, I shouldn't say the basement, it's the lower level. And it has a saltwater pool that is one of the best pools, I think, in Paris, other than the one at the Ritz. And it's very personal, it's very intimate. And I get up there and swim every morning. And in fact, I loved it so much that I used that setting in one of my books, Flawless, which a pivotal scene takes place in that pool.
Oh, nice.
There's so many. The Marais I love, the left bank, of course. Just so many lovely areas. Each neighborhood, each arrondissement has a separate personality, and I love exploring all of them.
So do you have plans to take any more of your characters to Paris in future novels?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Paris seems to creep into my novels. The story will be going along, and then all of a sudden, there's a reason for them to go to Paris. I don't know if that happens to you, but
they have to go.
Let's go to Paris. Why not?
They have to go.
I think it was Audrey Hepburn who said Paris is always a good idea. I love that. I love that. But yes, I'll be revisiting Paris again in my next novel from St. Martin's Press, another historical, and that's called The Winemakers.
Okay.
It takes place in Italy, in Napa, but they have a side trip, a very romantic side trip to Paris. And then in another book called Flawless, that's one of my contemporary novels, they also take a trip to Paris with a handsome chef. And then in another upcoming novel called Essence, they will also be traveling to Paris and the south of France.
Nice. You're just getting back over there every chance you can, huh?
Every chance.
Do you have any travel plans to head back to Paris soon?
Yes, I do.
Yeah?
Yes, I do. So I'll be researching another novel there.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how much research you had to do for Scent of Triumph.
Oh, there was quite a lot. In my historical novels, there's a tremendous amount of research that has to be done. And for Scent of Triumph, fortunately, I knew quite a lot about perfumery. I've written books about perfumery, and I've lectured at the Fragrance Foundation. I've spoken before the American Society of Perfumers. So I really knew a lot of the history. However, it was the troop movements, when certain countries were being invaded, all of that, I had to create a very detailed timeline for the characters and for the story. And then in addition to that, I also had to add in the music, the fashions of the day, when all of these things were occurring. So it was really a fascinating lesson in fitting all of that into the story.
It's so interesting. I love it. So tell us about romance in Paris. Do you weave romance into your books as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love to set my romantic scenes in Paris. I've done that in Flawless, and I'm doing it in Essence as well. Also in The Winemakers, there's a very romantic scene. In Scent of Triumph, definitely.
Have you ever had your own romance in Paris?
Oh, well, I think we all
Have a little.
I know we have, haven't we?
Yeah.
But that's all also.
Okay, good. That's probably good for now. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Jan. It was so fun talking to you about your books and about your love of Paris. If you're interested in reading more about Paris and all of the other cities Jan visits, Scent of Triumph is out now, and The Winemakers will be coming out in...
That'll be out in spring of 2016.
Very exciting. Thank you, Jan.
Well, thank you. And when is our next trip?
I'm ready to go.
Well, why not?
Let's go.